Okay, so I'm going to work and I'm just gonna give a little quickie before I go to work. So my ketamine has already worn off. I'm on day 5. Yesterday I was so depressed, so sad. I feel depression again and my sadness is 100% back. Also, I have trouble at work because, I don't talk to anyone, I keep to myself, but for some people, I've already, I don't blame anyone, but I already started on the wrong foot, and yesterday, I had like a breakdown and I was so nervous. I stayed in my seat all 12 hours. I didn't get up for breaks. I was so scared I couldn't move because I didn't want people to see me. I'm like, if I sit in my seat this whole time, then I limit the interactions, I limit the times I can start drama. And yesterday I started drama. I kept looking back because my supervisor usually sits here. But the girl, she's a black girl. I'm not saying anything about black, but she thought I was looking at her the wrong way. And so she told someone else, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I don't want this to become a thing. I'm like, should I go to work? I'm like, yes, I should go to work. I'm just gonna talk to her and be like, hey, I was checking for my supervisor. I don't want trouble. And hopefully I get there before she does. And it doesn't start drama, but I start so much drama. And it's so crazy because I don't blame anyone there because I know that it's me, I'm the problem. And, I reframe my thoughts to all those times where I was such a punk and I was a girl that needed to get slapped and I never got slapped. Like, this is my karma, and it makes me feel a little bit better that I'm like going through my karma. What the heck is that noise? Hopefully, I do the ketamine and I start making new neural pathways and changing. I want to stay at this job till December. Next month till December, I want to work and save money. But I have to limit the drama, and it's crazy because it's drama. Like, I walk around like this because this is my default face, but I don't talk to anyone because I'm scared. I get like that feeling in my stomach, but then it translates to people like I'm rude. I think I'm better than people, and I understand. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just unintentionally get into like this issue. Like, this actually is like me not trying to, but actually getting into it and drama with the people. And I understand, like, I don't, I talk different, so they assume that I'm proper. I think I'm better. And just all this drama that I don't want. So I'm praying that there's no drama today. I can talk to her, just de-escalate, be like, hey, I don't want to start drama. I'm here till December. I'm just trying to mind my own business. And just like de-escalate it before she tells other people and it becomes a thing. So I'm really, really hoping for that. And my mental health, like, every day that the ketamine wears off, it gets back to being bad. And like yesterday I couldn't smile and I had like this mean face and I was just scared. And like, I really have to, I really have to work on, I can't change now because I have to keep on taking the ketamine to rewire my brain, but hopefully I'll be able to change the more I take it. And hopefully this is like the last job that I have these mistakes. I get it all out here, take my ketamine, and then can start fresh at a new job after I stay my 6 months. I really need to stay 6 months, even though everyone hates me. I know they do. I can feel the tension, and I don't blame anyone. Like, this girl was talking about me. They're like doing like this, and I got scared, but I don't blame them because me with my RBF and not talking to anyone, like giving off that impression, probably offended someone. And they're all cousins, and like, everyone's black there and they're all cousins and siblings, and they've been working together for 3 years. So if you offend one person, it goes down the chain. And so I understand, and I'm not like, even though they're doing that I was scared, but it's like I'm not like, I'm not mad at them because I understand my personality. I was talking to ChatGPT yesterday, and they copy, when you talk to it, it copies your inflection, your tone, and it gives it back. And I was already like, ooh, I don't like this version, because it was copying my inflection, and I was like, I need another version. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I catch stuff like that so fast. And I was like, okay, well, let me just talk to it like in a softer tone, and it fixed it. So it's like, I'm so hyper aware of energy given to me, but I am so like unaware of energy I give to other people. And it's like, I know that I give bad energy, so I don't blame anyone for, you know, giving the bad energy back. So yeah, I don't blame anyone, and I'm not mad at anyone there. Like, once I'm healed, I would definitely like love to be like kiki with everyone, but it's just like, whenever I talk to anyone, like, I feel scared in the pit of my stomach. Whenever I make eye contact, I feel scared in the pit of my stomach. So I can't say good morning because I go into fight or flight over saying good morning, and you know, like, just crazy stuff like that I've never had to deal with, but now, like, because I'm like in this mental like stage, like, it's like my whole nervous system's messed up, and so it's a lot. And I just, you know, I'm working with Black people, so if I'm gonna, you know, if I keep on carrying this energy, you know, cousins, aunties, you know, they're all gonna pull up and beat my butt, you know, and I don't want that. And I don't want to offend anyone, and I just want to like just stick to myself. It's just I always get in situations like this, and so I just want to like just diffuse it, and hopefully I don't get anything like that again. So hopefully I can talk to her before anyone gets there. But yeah, last night was really tough. I was you know, it's so crazy how much I've like, you know, I've always been like this, but because I was so numb and shut down, I like just, you know, I didn't feel anything. Like, I just pretended like nothing happened. I was like a high functioning, like friendly, going hanging, like having friends and stuff like that. It's like, as soon as this happened, I don't leave my house. Like, I don't talk to anyone. Like, I'm so like, it's just crazy how far I've what's it called, like not decreased, but it's so far how far I like gotten worse. And it's like, I saw some Instagram, you know, and I started crying because I see all these people that I know, like married, kids, stable job, you know, like doing all this cool stuff. And it's like, I am 27. I'm not stable, not married. I don't have kids. I've never had a boyfriend. Like, and I'm like worrying about all these mental health problems that are coming up. So it just makes me sad about my life. But hopefully I can get this work through this. And you know, I'm praying that I can de-escalate before, you know, she talks to anyone else and it spreads. So hopefully I can do that. Oh, it stinks. Oh, hi. No, you're fine. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully I can de-escalate before, you know, word gets around that I was, you know, mean mugging this girl, which, you know, I wasn't, but that's how it'll get around, like. So I'm really praying I'm really nervous. I'm like, what if word already got around and like they're like, this is her last chance, and they start like trying to fight me and stuff like that. And it's like my biggest fear is getting embarrassed. So like them pulling off my wig or something, like that scares me so bad. I don't have money, but I need a drink. But then if I have a drink, then I'm going to have to get up and do my lunch break. And I don't want to get up because I want to limit the times I have with people. Just to limit drama. I'm very much nervous. But, I do my next dose on Friday. So hopefully or I do my next dose Thursday, so yeah, yesterday was like the worst day. Also, I slept, but I only slept a couple hours, and because I started taking ketamine now, I have REM sleep, which I've never had before. Well, I've had it like within like these last 2 months, since June. I think I've had like 2 or 3 in June, and then I had like 2 yesterday, and then like a couple of days before. But so whenever I have REM sleep and I wake up in the middle of it, I'm like super raw, and like I'm so like stiff, and like I'm like so worn out emotionally before the day starts, because in my REM dreams, they're so vivid. Like I remember acting out. I remember like the feelings I had, like staring at someone, and like I remember like the curiosity, what the person said. I remember it like a memory because it's so vivid. And I woke up in the middle of it, and so it like disrupted my REM sleep, and like I was like so emotionally charged and so stiff, and like so like manual all day. Like I had to like I didn't want people to see my face. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to move out of my seat because I didn't want to like limit the interactions. And like it's just so crazy how much I've regressed, and like how much I've regressed. And you know, I've been healing since 2023. 2023, I was in shutdown. I was just journaling, and I was journaling, but it really wasn't like affecting anything. I was just journaling and doing some breath work because I heard like that's like how you start healing. So I just forced myself to do that, and that whole year, like nothing. I was just journaling. And then 2024, I started going into the functional freeze. So I started feeling some of emotions, very few emotions, but I started crying about my past. I started doing more breath work. I started meditating, and like that, at that time, I was just journaling about my experience. I was doing some shadow work, you know, crying about like my grief, but like it was very fragmented. So I was crying, but like I was crying about small picture stuff, like instead of grief, like the big picture, I was crying about like a small incident that happened that wasn't my fault and how I felt, you know. And then and that was like so manageable because I would like be in my shutdown, so I'm at my freeze, but pretty much shut down on the teeter of freeze. Like I didn't really feel much, and then and I was very functional, having friends, like hanging out. And then it was like when I was ready, that night I would journal and do some shadow work and then cry, and then like I'd feel better. because I'm healing. It was very much on my time, and I love that. And I was like, I'd rather just go the long process and do this healing by myself, because it's very manageable. It's very much on my time, and I just love that. And then that was 2024. And then August of 2024, I moved into this apartment, the studio, and I started doing like crazy breath works. I was like, because my body was in the sympathetic, that's my default from birth, and so I was like rewiring my breathing to be in this parasympathetic. So for months I was breathing 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out every day. Like, that was just my normal breathing, and like I didn't have any help in like regulating. Maybe you should have done the 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out, like every 5-6 minutes. My whole breathing changed to the 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out, to very like parasympathetic, very like flat state. And that's like what wrecked me, because I did it too fast, and like switched my breathing cycle, switched my state of body from sympathetic to parasympathetic. And like, you got to do that slowly and work with the emotions that come with it slowly. But I did it like in 3 months. I was already like just breathing normally 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out. So I did it too fast. And so then my body just like I did that for about 4 months, and was like doing a little bit of breathing, and like healing still on my terms. But then like, because I was like constantly like in the parasympathetic and like less stress, like I was like forcing my body to like open up a lot more. So then like all these more emotions started coming in, and I was like, okay, I was having breakdowns like all the time, and I was like, I can handle it, because it was still, I could like control it to have breakdowns like on my time. So I was like, having a lot more breakdowns, but it was like, after work, on the ride home from work, I'd be crying. Like, I would tell myself, I'm safe. I don't know why, but my body told me to say that. And then I'd be crying, like from the gut. I started crying from the gut, which is like a lot of stored emotion is there. And like, I was fine with that. I was like, I still want to take this slow and do this on my level. And like, I'm having all these breakthroughs every time I breathe from the gut. And I was happy. And then in June, so I did that for about like 5, 6, 7 months. In June, I started listening. So I have tinnitus, the ringing in my ear. And most people are scared of that. They're like, what's wrong with my ear? But I started focused, like just laying down and just listening to it. And it was like listening to my internal sounds, because like I associate the tinnitus or tetanus, I associate that sound as my internal. So I just used that to tether me to my inner world. And I just started laying down for like 5-10 minutes, and I would just listen. And like it would be complete silence, which I've never been in silence. I'm always have something like, stimulating, active, like scrolling, music, YouTube. Like I'm always having something. And I started doing that, and it's like after every session, I'd cry from the gut. I have no idea what I'm crying from, but it's like a hard gut cry. And I'm like, afterwards, I feel amazing. I feel like, I feel happy. I'm like, I'm making progress. So I just started doing that more, not knowing what I was doing. I was then, because I'm in freeze now, but then I was like taking me out of freeze and putting me into presence. So I've been dissociated my whole life. So I've been living like behind a barrier of myself, and like putting myself in present was like me living in front of the barrier, like present. My whole body was present, and I didn't know that every time I was doing that, I was being present. That's why I was crying. And so I just kept on doing it more, because I love like gut crying on my own, because I feel like that's more healing. I know I'm like blocked up with a lot of like trauma and stuff like that. So I started doing that more, and then it was like that triggered all of this that I have now. Triggered all of this, because every time you go from a state, you have blocked emotions that you have to deal with. And so when I went from shutdown to freeze, I had some emotions, but it was very manageable. When I went from freeze, like tether that line to actually being into like the middle of freeze, there's some motions. And then when I went from freeze to present, like all hell broke loose. Like all hell broke loose. And it's like I'm not even fully present, I'm semi-present. I developed anxiety. Like first of all, I became like, I teetered the line, and I'm just bawling all the time, sobbing. And then I develop all this stuff, and I'm like, why am I like getting all this like disease? Because before I was never sick. Like I was always like just like a tough cookie, like nothing. Like I didn't believe in depression. I didn't believe in any of that because I've never felt it, because I was like in shutdown my whole life. And like all these emotions started coming. I'm like, where am I getting these emotions from? Like, what's going on? Like, I started getting anxiety. I couldn't look people in the face. I got like this scared feeling in my gut when I made eye contact. When I'm around people, I break down. I get like hives. I start sweating. My heart rate goes up. Like just crazy stuff. I can't be around people. I can't make eye contact. I can't talk to people. When I talk to people, I'm looking at the person looking at me. So I'm looking at their face, and I'm like, whatever their face expression is, I just like, they could like winkle their nose, and my brain assumes that it's bad. And then I, start panicking. I switch my face expressions, and then afterwards for 10 minutes, I'm thinking about that whole interaction. I'm like, it's just so much. Like I had that hypervigilance, I had social anxiety, I had my depression got really bad. I felt like my first feelings of hopelessness, and like as soon as I felt it, I was like, this is hopelessness. Like I didn't know what they were, and because I was in freeze, I didn't have these feelings. So I'm present. I'm feeling all these feelings, hopelessness. I'm feeling emptiness. I'm feeling sadness, like blanket of these feelings on me for the first time. And then I have anxiety, depression, dissociation. Like now, whenever I dissociate, my heart rate goes up and I get stress. And I have bad chronic stress, which I've had my whole life, but now I can feel it. I can feel myself laying in bed and stress, like compounding on my body. It's the weirdest thing. I can feel it in my back. And it's like whenever you're like in a bad situation, you're really tense. Like that's me. I'll start off super relaxed. I'll do my breath work and I'll expel my stressful tension, and then in 5 minutes I can feel it like go back on my body. And then after 5 minutes I'm like tense, like I'm like in a bad situation, tense and laying in bed. And so I'm bad stress. I feel it. I feel anxiety. I feel depression. I feel my dissociation. I feel sadness, hopelessness, emptiness. And then on top of that, I'm like, I have to deal with all these emotions that when I went to freeze when I was 12 or shut down, I have to deal with all those emotions that I had that may cause me to like officially shut down. So I'm dealing with like my childhood shame, my childhood like OCD, my thought pattern. Like I'm dealing with all these problems, and I'm like going back and connecting the dots to where they started to where in my childhood and trying to like fix them. But it's like overwhelming, like all these emotions that I've had, like present, past, future, 27 years or 26 years worth, they're all flooding in, and like I'm like having breakdowns. Like I have to step outside of work. I can't control when I have my breakdowns now. I'm crying. Now I cry at my work office, like for no reason. I just start crying, and I'll have people beside me sitting, or just cover my eyes, and I'll just start crying and then get over and just like pretend nothing happens. But I cry everywhere, breakdowns everywhere. I'll be not happy. I'll be normal for 1 minute and then break down. It's just so much. And and that's where I'm at. I had bad anxiety, my depression got worse because I have depression, and then I feel hopelessness, and I'm like suicidal, which is new, but it's like it already has like every time I am suicidal, like it's worse and worse. Addiction. So I was just like, I literally can't keep doing it. So I did ketamine, and I did my first dose last week. And the first 3-4 days I was amazing. Well, first day I was like, I didn't feel anything. Second day I felt good. Third day was really good. Fourth day depressed. And then today's the 5th day, and I don't know how this day's gonna go. it looks like I'm just like, it's completely out of my system, so I don't feel anything. But you know, like I can see myself, I can already feel myself like rewiring some patterns in my brain, like before my body really ruled my system. And like if I said, oh, I want to get food, and then I'm like, no, I don't need money, I don't have money, and I'll keep driving, like later on that day I'm getting food whether I have money or not. Like my impulses like really calm down. Now I can be like, I'm not getting food, I don't have money, and not get food. And you know, like just like a lot of like little minor stuff like I've been working on, but it's like, I mean, it's one dose, but you know, that's what I've been going through. And you know, every job I like, there's always drama around me, I'm always the problem, so I'm like, I'm the common denominator, I'm not gonna blame anyone. Like even if like it was a misunderstanding and I know I didn't mean to do anything, like I'm not gonna like get mad at that person or do anything, because you know, I've been the problem in too many situations for me to like try to like equalize the drama, you know. So yeah, I'm in a very toxic work environment that I've made, that, you know, I can't sit in the environments that I make, so I make it toxic, and then it gets too toxic for me, and then I have to leave. And it's just like, this time I can't leave, I've got to stay until I get fired, until I get quit. And I have to make sure that I'm really maintaining not to cause drama and keep my head down and mind my business. They all hate me there. They all like stare at me, give me those bad like RBF, like really like mean faces. And I understand, and I'm not even mad at anyone, because like I cannot be the problem for like all these issues and try to like blame other people. There's no way I can do that. And so even though like I am the problem and I don't blame anyone, I still feel sad and I still cry after with these situations. So yeah, I mean, but I feel like that's growth. Like I'm not blaming anyone. I understand it's me. It's just like the hard part is like changing. I've got to just wait till I keep taking more ketamine. It like rewires my nervous system and I can make new habits. And so I pray that there's no more drama. I can, you know, I just pray that I can de-escalate this before she tells other people and it becomes another thing and they try to fire me or they try to beat me up or pull off my wig. I just don't want that. So whenever she gets there at 2, I can just be like, hey, I'm not trying to start anything. I do apologize for any misunderstandings or something. Because she already told someone yesterday. But yeah, I just really want to change. I don't want to be this problematic. And it's crazy because now I'm like, I feel exactly how I felt when I was 12. Like all those emotions that were frozen, all those emotions that caused me to get into freeze. You know, I was always in trouble. Like nothing could penetrate. I was like, you know, like all these emotions and all of my like these habits like I have from when I was 12. And I feel I matched it 100%. I am my 12-year-old at Hope that was always in trouble and no one could help and no one could you know. And it's like now I've got to figure out how to go from there and actually, instead of like, I've already learned in my shutdown, you know, to fake it, just pretend, and you know, but now I'm like I'm not really in the middle of the presence. I'm still teetering the line of presence and dissociation. Like yesterday I was like dissociated the whole day, but I've got to make new habits and like, you know, be a nice person. Because when I was at Hope, I was such a rude person, and I was like that because I was allowed to be like that. I wasn't, you know, challenged. Like, you know, everyone was like bowed down to me in a sense, and it's like you didn't have to make friends. You know, you lived with everyone, so it's like this whole aspect of like me trying to learn It's crazy, but I really do want to change. I do want to become that soft person that I've always craved to be. And so, yeah, I'm very scared to go into work. I get anxiety attacks just walking in there because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. It's so toxic, of my making, but it's like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know if someone's going to try to punch me in the face or like confront me, which is like, to me, that's like the same as embarrassment. Like, try to yell at me and everyone sees. Like, I don't know. And I'm so scared. Really scared. So there's been lots of prayer regarding that, which I'm scared to say that out loud, just because my mind, it's like, someone's, whoever you see more real to you, and it's like, I am a dark person, I make bad decisions, I'm like, always sinning, so it's like, I feel like the devil's more real to me because of that, and it's like, so I'm like, just scared that stuff's gonna happen. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm like, I don't even want to put that out in the universe. But I will put out in the universe that I'm gonna change for the better. I'm gonna be a better person. This is gonna be my last stop of being unstable and ruining every interaction and being rude. This is gonna be my last stop. I'm gonna take those ketamine. I've got 7 weeks left, and I'm gonna change. And I really believe it. And I want it so bad. I don't want to be a mean person anymore. And so it's gonna happen. It's a lot of growing pain, which is okay. Anyways, I'm really scared, so. And my boss, he's like a nice person, but it's like, he goes off my energy, and it's like, he's like treating me rude. And it's not because it's not his fault, but he's like going off my energy, and it's like, I'm so unaware of the energy I give off, but I'm so aware of energy given to me, which is just crazy. I've got to really learn how to make sure I'm giving off good energy, and that's also another, I don't know, but anyways, we'll see if I leave work getting beat up or not.